Crown Jewels upon us, Cooter. It's before we get out of this costumes and stuff. Halloween's over after today, but we're having the Crown Jewel. So we talked pretty much a lot about this card as soon as we heard what was going to happen, having champion versus champion to win the Crown Jewel championships. But we had other matches added to this we could talk about and see what you think about what's going on, right? So we have, first and foremost, this match I don't know. I'm on the fence with this. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. I feel like they don't know what to do with both of them, so we're going to put both of them in a match. I don't know. Are you feeling this kind of a feud? This match? There's been a little bit of a build-up, but at the same time, I'm like...
I think it's going somewhere else on top of this. I mean, I don't think this is going to be a one and done.
Yeah.
I think this might be an extended program. I think these two work really well together.
Yeah.
Randy Orton is the old vet. He's the lion, the last year of the pride, before he fucking croaks or whatever, and like just trying to hold on. And you got like hungry Kevin Owens pissed off at the world going at him, and I think it's a great little dynamic that they got going on, especially with who's going to be, with Cody and who's, because Randy's had his back the way that Kevin had his back. Yeah. Does this lead to like Kevin maybe showing Randy that, dude, he's been screwing us both over, and then maybe Randy turns? Because honestly, I think that's something everybody wants to see too. I think people would be really interested in a Cody and Randy Orton program.
No, for sure.
Before he goes.
Yeah, so this, for me, like I said, I feel like it's like a limbo match, right? They're in like a limbo stage until whatever happens outside of Crown Jewel, see where we can get a new program with one of these guys, because they're definitely both in that main event contendership, so we'll see what happens. They did add a triple threat match for the United States Championship to this. We got LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, and Andrade. It's pretty good. I mean,
that build-up was cool because what did they do? That best of 7 series match?
They were like one of the wrestlers that wrestled.
And then LA Knight was the special guest referee and screwed it over. Yep. And it was like, man, I did not invest in 7 matches. Now I hate LA Knight because I love these two, man.
Yeah.
I really like Carmelo Hayes, and Andrade has been one of my favorites since NXT. It just left a bad taste in my mouth. Pause. And
he's pausing himself tonight.
And yeah, because that was flagrant, bro. That could have cost me a 3-game suspension right there. No, I just to see where this is going. Now we get a triple threat. So now it meant something. So instead of having to face one of these guys, now you got to face both of them. I thought it was a cool little move.
Sure. We talked about this a while ago, to where LA Knight had like this hot streak going, right? And then it was right before last year's SummerSlam where Randy Orton and CM Punk both came back. And as soon as they came back, LA Knight wasn't the coolest kid in the room anymore, right?
No.
It almost feel like he fizzled out a little bit. So we got him to the United States Championship finally this year, and he's been running the past few months with it. So I think, though, out of this match, I feel like an upset should happen here. I really think they got to do something with Carmelo Hayes. They got to put a championship on him. Being this young, he got moved up from NXT. Incredible talent, but at the same time, I feel like they don't know what to do with him. They stuck him with Andrade, also good. But I'll tell you, whether it's Carmelo or Andrade, I feel like one of them winning the United States Championship would be good. And it'd be good for all these guys.
Are you over the whole LA Knight thing? Because I'm kind of there. Like, it's just not...
Yeah, it's not like I don't hate him. I don't care. I'm not tuning in. At the same time, I feel like this dude needs to chase a championship and not just hold on to it right now. And giving it to one of these other guys for kind of being the workhorses for over the past few months would be a nice little nod to them. And winning the United States Championship in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I don't want to be a... I like LA Knight in like very small doses. Like he's palatable for me in small doses. I to see him holding a belt and just being on TV every week in this position where it's awkward with him holding a title for me. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. There's just something that's
Does
just...
he not need it? It probably doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't need
he falls in that Roddy Piper, Jake Roberts realm to me. Like, he doesn't need the title. He's an attraction on his own.
Exactly.
He really doesn't need it. I'm glad that he finally got that brass ring and got a belt, but he's one of those guys where I don't think he needs it for his career to be defined as awesome, because he's good, but this run, it's just left something less to be desired for me. I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
100%. Yeah. No, I have no bad things to say about them. Pretty good. But moving right along, we got the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Tag Team Championships. We have Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, the champions right now, taking on Damage Control's Io Sky and Kairi Sane, and also Chelsea Green, Piper Niven. I'm trying to read down this list because I can't even see past my freaking eyes with this damn mask on. Happy Halloween, everybody joining us. These are our Halloween costumes, and I can't see 5 feet in front of me. Did I even name the 4 teams? No, we have that. Oh, we got the... Oh, my goodness. I'm trying to read this at the same time. I can't even see. Who we got? Oh, the wild card, we got Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. Dude, Lash Legend, I'll tell you what. She's in the ring a few weeks ago on SmackDown. She's bigger than Jade Cargill. She's like huge. I think that's why they've been kind of testing the waters with her coming up on the main roster, having these matches. But when they see them next to each other, it makes Jade Cargill look tiny. And it's something to say. She got a shit name, but I mean... That's
a conversation we got to have.
Yeah.
Is Jade Cargill.
What are they doing, right? Well, I guess
I don't get it.
Good. What else are you going to offer us?
It's going to be a year since I think she debuted, because I want to say she debuted... Did she debut at Survivor Series?
I'm not sure.
Or at least they maybe announced that she signed, I want to say.
It was for a while, and then she didn't debut for a few months.
Until the Rumble, I want to say.
Yeah.
I just feel like they had such high hopes for her, and she's just been stuck in this tag team. I don't feel like maybe she's made the progress in their style that they were hoping that she would.
No, yeah. And so these girls, too. So, I mean, but the Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson coming up from NXT, adding more weight to the women's division, I guess, for the tag team championships on the show. I don't know if they're going to move up, or if they do win the championships, they could bring that back to NXT, give NXT something to do with, because they got a lot of women on the show now, we mentioned before.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think the main roster really needs the women's tag titles. I think there's some rumors that they might even have their own mid-card title soon for women, like an IC championship or a U.S. championship for women.
They have a North American title.
So, yeah, but not...
Oh, you're talking about for the main roster?
Yeah, for the main roster. So I think they might move those down and then give... Because there's a lot more women, I think, in NXT right now than there is for tag teams.
That's going to be rough, though, Credo, just because I feel like depending on what happens in Raw in January, like SmackDown is 2 hours and Raw is 2 hours.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed the shorter show, but because I feel like they have such a big roster for Raw, I feel like certain things are just getting rushed.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you have the room for another belt. Like, think of all the titles that they had in WCW.
Yep.
Right? You even had a TV title that was defended every week, but Nitro was a 3-hour show. So I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if that's the greatest idea. Let me ask you a question. Here's a good one for you. If WWE, because they have this great roster of women, if they had a just all-women show, do you think it would outdraw the WNBA?
You know, funny you said this. We joked a while ago that I was on Total Bellas because I was backstage at Evolution. I was backstage at the women's
Mr. Name Dropping Credo. I remember. Yes.
And so, you know, I went to that pay-per-view, and watching it, at first I was kind of worried because I'm like, all right, an all-women show. When you're there watching it, they had a lot of names because at the time they also had the Bellas back then. They had Ronda Rousey.
They had the star power.
Yeah, so they had a lot of names for the women's division. So they filled the show, no problem. And that was a pay-per-view. Today, you have so much talent. There's an abundance that they're putting it on Twitch or Twitter for the Speed Championship, right? You have so much talent that they're using it for all these little things. I think you almost need an all-women's show because a lot of them, you have a match here, a match there, but you still have this abundance of women that, like, okay, what should we do with them? I think, like, a show on, well, if they put the network to Netflix or
I
something.
forget what the number was, Credo, but it's funny you say that. They said that once Raw dropped back down to 2 hours, the amount of women's matches per week dropped significantly.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're getting the short end of the stick because they have less time on Raw, which sucks because there's some great shit. Like, we all make the joke about Shayna Baszler's and her little fucking faction there, which I love all three of them. I think they're all awesome in the ring. But, like, when's the last time you seen them? And they were building them to be something, and now, we ain't got time for you, kid.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
It sucks, dude.
They don't know what to do with the women sometimes, but, like, you have this plethora of women, and you got to do something with it. So, either way.
Hey, there's always only wrestlers.
Only wrestlers, ladies. Don't worry. You still have a chance to make it somewhere else.
Oh, that's horrible.
So walking out of here, I think a lot of people are predicting the champions retain it, but I think I would like to see another upset over here. I think, somebody like Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, been working, entertaining workhorses the past few months on just doing different things. Give them the championships for a little bit, put it back on them. They were never. I don't think they're ever champions.
No,
I don't think.
I think they might have had a title shot at one point.
So
but
I feel like out of all these, the newer upcomers from NXT, I wouldn't put it on them right away. But unless you want to move the championships off the show, then I get it.
Right.
Other than that, I would want to see a Chelsea Green win out of this. So.
I'm with it.
All right.
I'm with it.
All right. So let's see. We got that out of the way. I think the biggest thing that I was surprised at they announced after Raw this week was Roman Reigns and the Usos versus the Bloodline in a 6-man tag team match.
Gee, I wonder who the odd man out in that one's going to be. Is it going to be Tongaloa?
The Tonga. So I didn't think it would be a 3-on-3 match for this. I figured you'd want to save that for War Games, maybe. No, it's only.
Yeah,
I
but
guess just build more to it, right?
I tell you what, I feel like the 3-on-3 with the numbers game, with somebody going to interfere, they still have a 4-on-3 advantage, and that's what's going to cause them to be, all right, we got to do this in a cage.
Yeah.
We got to get a fourth guy. For all we know, it could be a 5-on-5. We don't know what's going to happen. I mean, this could. Where does The Rock play in?
The Rock in Riyadh. You think he's going to go all the way out there just for another little?
No. I'm talking about for War Games. You know, The Rock's not going to Saudi Arabia. You kidding me? You got to be kidding me right now. No, I just
You're
feel
ready
like
to go to Saudi Arabia for people tuning in right now. The Sheiky babies over there.
Bubba, that's the wrong country. Iran, #1.
I wish people could see from my point of view because I could barely see out of this
You
thing.
can't see from your point of view with that mask on.
To me, it looks like you have long hair under there because, I'm not used to seeing you with hair. But with your getup, it kind of looks like you have, you're a rock star under there, man.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Oh, man, if only I could see through the eyes of the mask out there. Anyway, so... what's funny about this, I thought this was more funny, is that they announced this match after Raw before SmackDown even happened. Granted, people haven't really seen all three of them in the ring together hugging and embracing one another because they taped 2 shows in Brooklyn last week because of this Saudi Arabia trip. So they didn't want them traveling the night before to go 10 hours across the world, right? So
did you do a good job of trying to avoid those spoilers? Because I still haven't heard them. I'm very good at that.
Spoiler alert. So, that's what was funny but they even put it on their own WWE social media, and it was the #1 video that they put out there. It was Roman Reigns getting in the ring with the Usos. Then I was like, okay, well, they announced this. They hinted at it at Raw because it's weird because they taped SmackDown.
Yes.
Raw was live, and they hinted at what's going to happen on SmackDown.
But everybody already knows what happened.
There's a lot of weird stuff they threw out there. I guess maybe they want to throw it out there for more ticket sales, but I can't. I feel like it's
ticket sales for what?
Exactly. That's why I'm like, why would they put this out Monday and not announce it on Friday night before?
It's just easier to have the show in the can.
Sure.
So they have an easier time of travel and getting over there to Saudi Arabia, bro.
No, man. So, I don't know. It's at 1 p.m., though. Are you ready for a 1 p.m.? Are you going to watch it?
I got a job. I got to work. Are you crazy?
You're not tuning into Peacock at 1 o'clock?
I'm going to watch it on replay because I got a party to go to afterwards,
You know what I would always, I guess in the world of spoilers, I'm like, granted they show it live here, but they should have just showed it at a nighttime, our time zone, but then I guess everybody's going to know what happens right on social, instead of playing it here at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock as opposed to...
because you're going to be that Mark who's going to be sitting there on his
no
fucking
spoilers.
Facebook feed looking, I wonder what's going to happen with Cody and Gunther.
No spoilers, please. Or
the one
watching
thing I do want to say is this whole Seth Rollins match with, what the hell is this guy's name?
Bronson Reed.
There's too many Reeds in this goddamn company, right? But... they did a better job this week of building that than they did last week, wouldn't you say? I feel like, okay, Seth Rollins did the stomp on the car, and they made Bronson look like that monster again. Yeah. You know what I mean? And Rollins oh, shit, here I thought I was this big badass, and as opposed to last week where I think they just overdid the whole fighting all over the place, the whole bullshit, the whole 9 yards. They did a better job of making Seth and putting doubt in his mind and the fans' mind. We're like, oh, whoa, this dude Bronson might have a good shot over here.
Sure, man.
I think they're doing a better job of building him than you might agree with.
Yeah, because I mean, like I said before, I'm not that I'm not impressed.
You weren't the biggest fan of the build on him.
No, yeah, I mean, for me, he's not that big of a guy to where like Braun Strowman was when the dude was lifting semis in the back, right? So is that no?
I'm not pausing that one. I mean, that's on you, bro.
I mean, so they're building him like a monster, but then I'm like, where do you go from this? Because like. And in my way, he's having a lot of backstage brawls, and like this beast, this monster. Are we building this just to an IC match against Braun Breaker, or like where does this lead to? Are they just feeding this monster to Braun to make Braun look even stronger down the line, or like what does he get out of this? Because I feel like ever since he came to the main roster, I think he came under Vince maybe, and then he left.
Yeah,
wasn't he? And then he came back.
I say he left and came back.
Yeah, I thought he was like a release. And they hired him back.
I think they released
Triple
his
H. Yeah, so Triple H, he's a Triple H guy. I guess he really likes him. No, but I mean, either way, I think it's building up. I'm really out of all the matches on the show, I'm kind of curious how they're going to do the whole Cody and Gunther match. There we go. The mustache is back.
Oh, excellent, Bubba. Excellent.
So, I'm kind of curious. Who's going to be the crown jewel? If your last prediction, who's winning it?
What, Gunther?
Gunther?
No question.
No question of Gunther.
No question it's going to be Gunther.
Now, what do you do with Cody after this? He's lost, but he didn't lose the championship. He just lost.
He's going to get screwed over by Kevin Owens or something like that. And like I said last week, I think it's great. It gives the world title more prestige. Because come Royal Rumble, you want people to be like, oh, who's the winner going to choose? Because they're going to choose Cody because it's going to be the more prestigious title.
Yeah.
But Gunther can always say, hey, man, I already beat Cody. So if you can beat me, then you can beat both of us and say that you're man.
Yeah.
I think that most people are overlooking that fact.
Sure. So now, if you had to look into your magic crystal ball, Sheiky baby, if you could predict what Cody Rhodes is going to do up until Mania, do you see him walking into Mania with the championship, or do you see him losing it before Mania, or what do you see with him in the next few months? Because if he does lose to Gunther, that means he's not the best of the best, right? So he's the second best in terms of. But
if there's a screw job finish, does that really matter?
Yeah, that's
They're
true.
still going to make him look strong. If it just is what it is. Right now, he's their cash cow. He's what's making this. He's probably the most popular guy on the roster right now. So if he takes a loss and some screw job, it doesn't really hurt him.